Hello, Hava / Naz here. If you are new to my channel or you don't know me, basically I am an advocate for invisible illness, stigma, especially mental health and sight loss. My aim is to raise awareness and reduce stigma and educate people who are unaware of invisible illnesses, as there are a lot of people who don't class invisible illnesses as disabilities if you can't see them or if you're not in a wheelchair, and I want to help reduce the stigma surrounding this. Basically, I want to do this by sharing my journey and my story to help empower others to share theirs too, I guess, to help raise awareness and reduce the stigma and educate people and make the world a better place. So today I wanted to talk about misconceptions and the stigma surrounding blind people, or blindness or eye conditions basically. I am legally blind as of September 2015, so that was when I was 18, I think. I have a condition called Cone Dystrophy. So today I'll be talking about 3 misconceptions, then I'll be talking about how those misconceptions and the stigma makes me feel as a visually impaired person. So the first one, blind is black. No. Blindness does not mean seeing pitch black. This is only apparent in 10% of cases. That's a very small percentage compared to the 90% who either have light and shadow perception or have some other sight. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but for example, I am legally blind and I can see, but just in less detail, not very well. I'm colourblind and I can't see at night. You know, it's complex. But it's not just, black for everyone. It is for some people, but not for everyone. I was shocked when I was registered severely sight impaired / blind because I myself didn't have any idea or didn't have a clue as to how I could be blind when I could see. And then obviously I found out soon after that you can be blind and not see pitch black but see less, if that makes sense. This is only something that society has kind of come up with, like just as a deaf person, like when people say, oh, that person's deaf, you automatically think, oh, she can't hear anything. But I mean, it's probably the same with deaf people as well, that it's not like that for everyone, just as it is not like that for everyone that's blind. Every time I explain to someone that I'm blind, I kind of pull back a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, but I'm blind, but I can see you, just not very well, and and I just feel like I have to explain. I probably do need to explain because not a lot of people are aware that blind does not mean seeing pitch black. In my case, and in a lot of other people's cases. Sorry, I've just noticed that my hair looks gross. I'm sorry, it needs brushing, doesn't it? I always get people, when I say I'm blind, people ask all the time, like, why have you got a cane? Why have you got a dog, service dog? And when I say I'm blind, they look at me, they either take double takes or they're like, oh, you don't look blind. Because apparently I look too well to be blind. I don't know what that means. That statement, you look too well to be blind, kind of insults me and would insult people who see less than me, I guess, or are blind as well. And this goes on to my second point, which kind of links into that. So my second point is, you don't look sick. So the amount of times I do get that is ridiculous. I used to get it daily, frequently, when I was living in a busy city. Some people do say you don't look sick or ill. They think it's a compliment, but it really isn't. It's insulting. Because, the moment someone says that to me, I just think, well, hang on a sec, who are you to decide if I am ill or not? But the thing is, like, the moment someone says that to me, I think, you don't know what I go through on a day-to-day basis. You don't know what I've been through, what I'm dealing with. Sight loss is never going to be easy, but I'm learning to manage my way around it, and it doesn't become any easier when I have people in my face all the time asking me about it. I don't care if you ask me and you're nice, because I'm all about educating people on this sort of stuff. If you talk to me like in an insulting way or looking down on me or being narrow-minded, then I do not have time for you. And I've had people like that, like complete strangers, come up to me, touch me on the shoulder and be like, why have you got that cane? You don't need that. You're pretty, you don't need that, you're not blind. And I'm just like, what does that even mean? This happened in a food shop in Brighton, and I kind of like stood in the queue, and I was like so embarrassed, and I just like let her walk off after saying that. And then I was like, no, hang on a sec, get yourself together, like you need to educate people on this sort of stuff. That's what you're all about, so go up to that woman and stand your ground. So I went up to her and I was like, excuse me, but you have no right to make that statement that I'm not blind and that I don't need this cane. That's really embarrassing. You don't know what I've been through, what I go through, what I see, what I don't see. So who are you to make that statement? She was like, oh God, you don't have to make a big drama out of it. And I was like, I'm not making a big drama out of it. You are the one making a drama out of it. And then the rest was a bit of a blur because I became a bit lightheaded because I was so angry that this could happen and people can not only think this way but actually approach the person that is ill and talk to them like that. It made me so upset. I actually had a panic attack outside of the shop, and she walked past me, didn't say anything. That was difficult. The third misconception is, have you tried glasses? No, of course not. How could I not think of that before? Thank you for bringing that up. I'll do that straight away. Not only that, they're like, oh, what about laser eye surgery? And I'm just like, are you serious? It's so silly. I don't understand. Like, if someone came up to me and was like, oh, I'm deaf, I wouldn't be like, oh, have you had surgery? I can't talk for all eye conditions, but most eye conditions I know: Cone Dystrophy, retinitis pigmentosa, I can't say it, amaurosis, something like that. They can't be cured like that with lens or surgery because there isn't a treatment for them. I don't know about the other conditions, but there definitely isn't a treatment for, retinitis pigmentosa and Cone Dystrophy and cone dystrophies, or, I think I was at a train station once and I went up to a man. As hard as it is to approach someone and ask something, I just asked like politely. I was like, what sorry, can I ask you something? What does it say on the screen? Does it say this train will be on this platform? And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, it says on the screen. And I had my service dog with me as well. And then I was like, sorry, I can't see very well, that's why I asked. He was like, you should get some glasses. And I'm just like, I'm blind. On that point, I still have family who say to me, oh, don't worry, everything will be okay. There'll be surgery or a fix soon, a cure. Just pray. And I'm just like, what? This is so wrong on so many levels, to say that to someone who has a deteriorating condition that does not have a cure. It's psychologically wrong. And if you say that, like if you're a mum or a dad or I don't know, an auntie or an uncle who say this to family members, whoever is suffering from this condition or a deteriorating condition that doesn't have a cure, don't say that to them. I got diagnosed when I was 9, 10. From then, like throughout my teenage years up until, I don't know, really recently, last year or whatever, I've always had people in my family say, don't worry, everything will be okay, there'll be a cure. Oh, let's go to this country to get it fixed. This man can fix this condition, or this man can pray on you. And it's really wrong to do this because, I've always had that growing up. And no one prepared me for losing big chunks of my vision when I had turned 18. And that's when I had moved out and I'd started university. It was a really hard time in my life, and I had to start doing things by myself to find that I was losing big chunks of my vision. I was fine before that, like I could get around okay and stuff. I couldn't go out at night as much, but that wasn't a huge problem for me. I haven't had anyone, not one person, prepare me for losing my vision, and that is heartbreaking because I've only had people say there's going to be a cure, just wait for the cure, everything will be fine, you just have to pray. And it hit me hard when I did lose big chunks of my vision, and I am still going to lose bigger chunks of my vision, and the only person that is preparing me for that is myself, because I've given up with asking for help from family to help me with this. I understand that they might be in denial, or they don't want to face the truth, or I don't know. I come from a Middle Eastern background. I find that people in Turkey find that things can be fixed with praying, and I just find it a bit weird because not everything can be fixed with praying. Some things are out of your control. They really are. You know, no one prepared me for a cane, a symbol cane, then the cane that touches the ground, or a blue badge, or being registered blind, having a service dog, or having, I don't know. No one prepared me for not being able to cross roads or go down steps safely. It's crap, but it also shows that only you can really help yourself, and family aren't always the right people to help you. I'm not saying my family don't help me at all. They try and do whatever they can, but I just wish that they would have prepared me for this rather than being silly and waiting for this magic cure. So last thing, how do misconceptions make me feel? And the stigma surrounding blindness makes me feel angry, sad, upset, embarrassed, little, and attacked. Because I've first-hand experienced quite a lot of chronic illnesses, I know that it's really not what it looks like on the outside. Nothing is. Someone's story, someone's illness, anything. You can mask that pain, and most people with invisible illnesses do because of society and their perception of invisible illnesses. They don't want to be attacked or feel vulnerable and being a target for this hate and ignorance. Someone could be physically really ill, in agony, mentally and physically, but the moment someone sees someone smiling or happy or with a full face of makeup on or nice clothes or whatever, they think, oh, that person's got it sorted. When I used to have people attack me daily for my illness, for not having it, for faking it, for over exaggerating it, it was mortifying. So I've been through phases, and I probably still subconsciously do it, where I cover it up, and I'm really good at not looking like I have an illness. Yeah, that's just how it's been for me, and probably a lot of other people who are living with a chronic illness. I think my advice to people who are getting comments, whether it's people attacking you, people being ignorant or horrible, insinuating that you're faking an illness, don't take it. Stand up for yourself and be proud that you have stood up for yourself. You know, it's one thing to live with a chronic illness, and it's another to have people at you, go at you, target you, accuse you, attack you. It's hard, it's really hard. Sometimes I wish people would just leave me alone. I don't get it a lot anymore, but I have got it in the past, and it has knocked my confidence a lot, or it has affected me in some way towards my depression or anxiety. If someone asks you about your condition, be nice, if they're being nice about it, and understand that not everyone is aware of these illnesses. But if they are nice, then yeah, educate them. Make the world a better place by doing so. It's empowering to teach someone something they didn't know, and they take it well and they take it on board. Yeah, people just aren't aware. That's what I've learned. People just don't know about this. So just as I didn't know, or you didn't know, or anyone else didn't know that blindness does not mean seeing pitch black. I guess it's hard for people who don't have a specific illness to kind of resonate with you or kind of understand where you're coming from. You know, sometimes I will go out with people who I'm really close to, and they'll forget that I can't see, and that's completely normal because they don't see what I see. So don't take crap from anyone, but also be nice and teach others who are unaware to raise awareness, reduce the stigma, and you'll feel better and they feel better. Not everyone wants to attack you. That's what I've learned as well. Sometimes people will be really nice about it, and then I'll be really rude, thinking they're going to attack me about my condition. But I found that that's not the case. I think, yeah, you live and you learn in most things, in most cases, and yeah. And yeah, so I've outlined 3 misconceptions and stated how misconceptions and the stigma makes me feel. Let me know in the comments down below if you too have experienced any sort of discrimination or have been attacked about your condition. If you've experienced anything that I've talked about, please talk about it in the comments. And yeah, the more we talk about these things, the more people will be aware to treat others with respect and Don't let anyone attack you against your illness just because it's not visible, just because it's not up to society's standards of what a disability is. I mean, on that note, I'll end it with a nice little thing that I saw. This was just like in Tesco's toilets. On the outside of the door it says, remember that not all illnesses are visible. I really like that. It was a disabled toilet. I've never seen that on a disabled toilet, and I always used to feel a bit funny going into them in case someone would say something like, oh, you're not disabled, you're not in a wheelchair. And I've had that from family members as well. People just don't leave you alone. That's what I've learned as well. Don't let anyone doubt you or tell you that you don't have an illness. People, I think, want to make you just go a bit crazy and think you're a bit deluded and over dramatic, but just be you. Embrace your illness. If you can't control your illness, or if there's no cure for it, then take control by changing the way you think around it. I could easily be like, oh, I'm losing my sight and I'm so sad, I'm not going to be able to do this, then this and this, which I used to be like that for a long time, until I noticed, okay, I'm blind, I'm losing my sight, what do I do? How do I manage this? I researched it, I researched other people that had it, tried to make my life better by working my way around my illness, by embracing it, talking about it, influencing others to talk about their illnesses, and just owning it, really. I'm blind, it's a part of me, it doesn't define me, but is a big part of my life, obviously. No one said it was going to be easy, but I've learned a lot along the way. I've learned so much. So try and focus on the positives as much as it's so easy to think of the negatives, you know. I have this illness. I might not be able to do this and this and this, but I can do this and this and this in a different way. I just need to find a different way of doing those things. I think I faffed on a bit at the end, but I hope that this resonated with some people, and thank you for my new subscribers. I've got a few from my last video, and a few messages as well, asking me questions. Recently I had a girl message me saying, I've just been diagnosed with this and I don't know what to do, I'm in shock. And yeah, I really appreciate you reaching out to me, because what better thing to do than to reach out to someone who has your illness and who's been through it all, that can advise you on what to do next. So that is the best thing to do if you're feeling stuck and sad, and you know, find ways of coping by reaching out to people who have the same illness. I hope that this helped in some way. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be doing more videos like this on my sight journey, because I've learned so much, and I think that it would be a bit unfair if I didn't share what I'd learned, because I'm in such a better place now than I was a few years ago. You know, it's been a roller coaster, but I'm getting there. I'm getting emotional now, so I'm gonna just bye. Yeah, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you thought, what you would like to see, and love to all of my blind pals out there. Bye.